Greetings, Gatewood Gators, and welcome to our January monthly bonus, the first monthly bonus of 2023. Woohoo! Well, as you can see, it's pretty chilly outside, which means it's not that fun to do gardening activities. But you know who could use a lot of help? Our little feathered friends, the birds. For this monthly bonus, I am going to be showing you how we can make some yummy bird treats using items that you can find in your pantry. And that way we can help the birds when there is a scarce food supply during the winter months. Let's get started. I'm going to be showing you a variety of really cool bird feeders that we can make using things from around our house or in nature. But first things first, let's talk about what we do feed birds and what we don't feed birds. Now, it is perfectly fine to give your birds some nice dry oats, but not oatmeal. Do not cook it down because sticky oats or wet oats means sticky bird beaks, and that's not good for them. Something else that you can do is cooked potatoes and rice. That's actually really good for them. What about bread though? Bread is a no-no, and this is coming from someone who used to feed donuts to seagulls on the beach as a kid. Why bread is so bad is, one, there's not much nutritional value, so they fill their little bellies up with bread and they're not getting the nutrients they need. And two, if it molds, it can cause a lot of problems. Something else that molds that can really harm a bird is honey. Do not use honey as an alternative for peanut butter or other suet because honey is a no-no. Now, when it comes to food around the house that you can provide for birds, cereal can be an option as long as it's not super processed or super sugary, or nuts that have no salt in it. So making sure that as long as those sunflower seeds or peanuts or almonds that are in your pantry do not have salt, you can crush them up and give them to birds. I have some supplies and you can mix and match and use what you will. I'm going to be showing you how we can make our own little suet cups using ingredients here. Suet is usually made up of beef fat, and personally, I don't want to handle lard. I think it's gross. I'm a vegetarian. It's just not my favorite thing. So I'm going to show you some beef fat alternatives. Now, if you don't have any beef fat lying around, you can always use Crisco, or you can use coconut oil. I'm also going to show you how to use some peanut butter. For those of you with peanut allergies, you can always use almond butter, sun butter, or just skip the nut butter all the way and switch to Crisco or coconut oil. Birds like pecking on fruit, so what I am going to do is crack this apple open and scoop out all of the seeds. Make sure there's a little bit of space in there. Now I'm going to punch a hole through it. I'm going to use a chopstick. Make sure to be careful not to poke yourself in this process. And I'm going to push a hole through it so I can string it up. Using some leftover holiday ribbon, I have tied a string around it, and now I am going to use some peanut butter to smear all along the side. And then I'm going to be dipping it into some seeds. And if you do not want to use peanut butter, you could use some Crisco. I would just go on the lighter side. You don't need to have a heavy duty amount of that. Got the peanut butter and a bowl of bird seed here. Again, you can use oats or unsalted nuts. And I'm going to dip it in. Woohoo! Now that is beautiful. Next, I'm going to be doing a classic. I found a couple of pine cones on my nature walks, and I have tied them up with some string here and some wire here, whatever you have lying around, as long as it is not string that will easily break. And I am going to be doing one with some coconut oil to test that out, and I am going to be doing another one with coconut oil and peanut butter. So I have a bowl of melted coconut oil right here, and I am going to just roll my pine cone until it's nice and wet. Shake out the excess oil and drop it in the seed mix. Now I get to cover my pine cone with seeds, really packing it in so you can get plenty of seeds in there. You have a nut-free birdie pine cone. This other one that I'm going to use is going to have a little bit of coconut oil and peanut butter. The only reason I'm using the coconut oil with this is just because makes it a little bit easier to mix together. So I've got a little coconut oil in here. I'm going to put a spoon of peanut butter, and I am going to mix it until it's nice and soft. I like to use a brush instead of a spoon just because I feel like it's easier to spread into the pine cone, but you can use whatever you have on hand. You can skip the coconut oil and just do peanut butter, getting that peanut butter deep in there so you can get the maximum about a birdseed out of it. But I made it into kind of a thicker, soupier mixture so I can really get it nicely coated. And so I am going to drop it into that birdseed and then pack those seeds on. Look at this. Another easy thing to use is your leftover toilet roll paper. I am going to take my peanut butter straight up and a spoon and just smear it on. This is making sure to get a nice even coating so you can get all the seed that you can out of it. And time for some seed rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Ooh, yummy, yummy. Well, you don't need to do this extra step. I put a little branch through my toilet paper roll and tie to either end. That way birds can land on it and eat from the seed without getting their little feet sticky with peanut butter. This is all set to hang outside. My final strategy that I'm going to show you is your very own suet feeder. I have a little mug here. A handled mug is very helpful, although you can even use a plastic container. You just need to punch a hole through it for your string. And I am going to mix some of my coconut oil in with some birdseed until it's nice and thick. Here are some seeds in my coconut oil. As you can tell, it is still very soupy, so I'm going to add a little bit more to the mix, including some uncooked oats. Give that a little thickener. Now that it is nice and thick, I'm going to go ahead and put this in my cup and pack it down until it's nice and full to the brim. Now that it's nice and full, I have a little branch here that I'm going to stick into the bottom. That way, when it's all dried, we can go ahead and hang it, and a bird will be able to land on the branch in order to eat it. From seed-covered apples to yummy seedy pine cones to our toilet paper roll trick and our suet cups, I have had so much fun making some delightful treats for our feathered friends, and I hope you did too. Well, Gators, I hope you have fun talking about the do's and don'ts to bird feeding in the wintertime and making some fun crafts with me. If you are in doubt for what to feed these birds, don't worry, I've provided some links below. And if you're feeling a little bit nervous about using your household food items to feed birds, that's okay, because I bought a giant box of birdseed that I am leaving in the school office for anyone who is interested in bringing a cup home. I highly encourage you to go ahead and do this and have some fun, and I will see you next month for our February monthly bonus. Bye everyone!